I hope the screen is visible and my audio is very clear. So hello and welcome to this, the science of effective presentation. Okay, so what is the whole idea behind this topic is how should we structure our lecture so as to connect with our audience in a better way. So I mentioned the question how, but there are more important questions to answer. We actually have 4 questions: the why, the who, the how, and the what. Why do we teach has the actual purpose. It is the higher purpose. That is the most important question to answer. But unfortunately, most of us spend a lot of time on the what or the content of the presentation. In fact, what doesn't matter. What matters most going to be why do we have to teach, who are we teaching, the audience, and how are we teaching, the actual methodology and techniques for effective teaching and training. So let's start with why. Now, why do I teach? I teach because it's my passion. And I also feel that when all of us as teachers teach postgraduates or allied ophthalmic personnel or anybody in eye care or healthcare for that matter, we empower them, we lift them up, we make them into better eye care or healthcare providers. And teaching students is as important, it is as sacred as treating patients. So that is the purpose. That is the why I teach. The more obvious benefit for all of us is that we become better learners when we teach students. This person on the slide might not be very familiar to all of us, but he is a Nobel laureate. He is Dr. Richard Feynman. What he will do is he will ask his physics fellows. Okay, he's a physicist. So he'll ask his fellows to go and teach complex physics concepts to kindergarten students, LKG and UKG students, whereby during that process, these fellows have to rack their brains to find how can I teach that concept to a kid. But interestingly, the research fellows were able to understand the concepts in a better way. That's an interesting thing. That's an interesting way to learn. This is called as Feynman's technique, one of the most proven ways of effective learning. So when I teach, I become a better learner. So I think I've convinced with these 2 reasons why we have to teach. But let's come to the practical points. Who are we teaching? In other words, who is our audience? Most often, I think most of the trainers here, we teach people who are juniors to us, who are lower in the cadre, we can say. So we might think that can we take them for granted? Can you teach whatever you want or can you teach however you want? Absolutely no. Audience matters the most. In healthcare, the focus is on the patients. When it comes to teaching, the focus is on the students, not on us, not on the content, only on the audience or the students. I'll give you an example. Some of you might recognize these 2 gentlemen. These are actors from India. They are very famous. One is Dr. Kamal Haasan, other is Rajinikanth. He is Kamal Haasan, he is Rajinikanth. Both are extraordinary actors. But Kamal Haasan is a better actor. Okay, he knows what actual acting is. But Rajinikanth creates blockbusters. He's celebrated. He's a superstar because he understands his audience. He gives what the audience wants. So understanding your audience, understanding what exactly your audience require is the first step towards presentation success. Now, having dealt with these 2 questions, why and who are we teaching? Let's go for the actual topic in place, the how to teach or the techniques involved in teaching. Rule number 1, always plan on paper. I know it's tempting to take the laptop and open up PowerPoint and start preparing slides, but trust me, paper works best. Always prepare your script on a clean canvas. Okay. This is the exact outline what I made for this talk when I was in the OPD. Okay. So this was like, I split into these questions. And later, from this rough draft, I got into a fair draft. So this is all made on a blank piece of paper or an app, whatever it is, start on a blank canvas. Now, when we make that, what happens? This outlining before preparing slides gives us more clarity, gives us more focus and flexibility while preparing. Rule number 2, classify the content. Now, you might have seen in this talk, what I'm giving right now, I have given 3 questions. What? We don't want that, but we answer 3 questions. So classification of the topics into multiple subtopics and put those subtopics in 3 levels, because I love the number 3. 3 has so much significance. It's easy to remember. Okay. So 3 levels. It's like this. Cut the cake. The cake is big, but feed them piece by piece to your audience. It's like emulsification of cataract. Always divide your topics and conquer. I call this as the 3 levels of learning. It has a very deeper philosophy actually. Whenever I teach my students, I always take them from level 1 to 2 to 3. In level 1, I teach them the fundamental concepts, the absolute basics. You can see the area for the concepts is larger, which means that you have to spend more time on teaching the basics. Without teaching the basics, don't take them to the next level, the body or the advanced, and spend enough time on that. And most importantly, teach all the important points in the very first few minutes. Attention span is shrinking, my dear friends. Every year, the attention span keeps on shrinking. Okay, now I think it's around 6 to 12 minutes. I don't know. It was 40 minutes when I was doing my school days. My teachers used to say 40 minutes is attention span. Now I think just 4 minutes. That's where we are here. So give the maximum information at the very first beginning. Very, very important. And only then you take them for the advanced concepts or the trivial details. Now, this is the script what I prepared for one of my lectures on intraocular tuberculosis. As you can see, this is a handwritten script. I used to subdivide, classify the script, add my own hand-drawn illustrations. Now, I use this exact document to present to my residents. I don't use a PowerPoint. I rarely use PowerPoints these days because boring slideshows don't help us in teaching science. And that brings me to rule number 3, avoid PowerPoint poisoning. I call it as PowerPoint poisoning because these days we overload the PowerPoints or keynotes with too much text, which doesn't make sense at all. Now just look at this slide. This slide talks about simplicity or it talks about PowerPoint overload, but unfortunately or paradoxically, this slide itself is overloaded. Now, PowerPoint is a great tool. There is no doubt about that. In fact, I use PowerPoint's cousin brother called Keynote, which is the Mac version of PowerPoint for this presentation. But again, as I mentioned, it's being abused in the wrong way. If the student can read the PowerPoint slides, even in your absence, then what is the point of we being there as a teacher? It's pointless. Maybe we should call it as PowerPointless. So, what is the better alternative to PowerPoint? Why not the classic whiteboard? This is the whiteboard what I place in my OPD cubicle, and teachings happen here every single day on this whiteboard. This is one such class on headache. As you can see, first I always classify the topics, divide and conquer, take one by one. And by the end of the class, I have this beautiful summary or the gist of the entire topic. I take a snapshot and I share with my residents as well. Why? Because whiteboards and blackboards have this emotional connect with us. You know, they're very simple, but it just takes us back to our school days. PowerPoints complicate things. Whiteboards and blackboards are far more simpler. Emotions. And that brings to rule number 4, engage the emotions of the audience. Very, very important. In fact, this is the message of this entire talk. Please appeal to the hearts of your audience. This is what Aristotle said centuries back. The 3 elements of effective presentation: ethos, logos, and pathos. As medical teachers, most often we involve the ethos. Ethos means credibility. Who is speaking? HOD, or is it a big shot is speaking? Logos means logical arguments. So we often involve these 2, but not pathos. What is pathos? Pathos is the emotions, the feelings of the audience. By telling engaging stories, by vividly explaining information through stories, we can captivate the attention of the audience. That is the importance of appealing to the pathos. Fortunately, a fortunate coincidence is that in our medical teaching, we have an inbuilt storytelling mechanism that is through patients' histories. The history has the story. So whenever I'm going to say to my residents or to my allied ophthalmic personnel, a 6-year-old male boy comes to you with complaints of defective vision, sudden onset, immediately I grab their attention. They come to the edge of their seats. Case histories are the best way to introduce a topic, the best way to convey a message in a more memorable way. I'll give you some more examples. In this lecture on glaucoma, I compare the optic disc to an egg. Okay, because neuroretinal rim is a very complex concept to understand. Disc is a very difficult part to understand. By comparing it to an egg, the residents understand it far better. The allied ophthalmic personnel take it more easier because I'm relating it to an everyday object, things which they love, And another interesting comparison is I always compare cataracts to idlis. In fact, the lens looks like an idli actually. And I use this same analogy to my patients as well. This might look very, kind of childish or schoolish, but it works. It works. By the end of the day, we want the students to remember what we are saying. And by comparing it to foods or things which we love, it makes the learning a lot more effective. I'll give an example. This is a small class which I took on small pupil management, or how do you actually manage small pupils in cataract surgery. So what I do is I brought this story into play. This is a well-dilated happy pupil, and it is possessed by a ghost, a problem. And we have the hero, Rajinikanth, coming and saving this small pupil into a well-dilated happy pupil. So in your presentations, in your teaching, introduce the problem, introduce the hero, introduce the conflict, introduce the solution. Another great way to teach. See, we all love movies. We remember films, we remember songs more than medical textbooks because these movies and songs, they have a story inside them. And through stories, we can reach out the audience in a better way. So what I do is, after I do my movie and story, I do my divide and conquer technique. On the board, I split the topic and then I take it one by one. By the end of the class, what I do is I give them this handout. This handout will have the story, it'll have the outline, and not just that, I'll add more images and articles. So this will be a complete reference material for them to go back. It's like a material or a handout. So give them 2 M's. Give them a material which they can fall back after class, which they can take back to home, read and revise. And most importantly, even before you finish your presentation or your teaching, give them a message. A message packed in a memorable way, or the take-home message. So what is the message of this lecture? The message is very simple. Yes, it is simple. S, simplicity sells. Okay, it's very easy to complicate concepts. See, anybody can complicate things, but it takes lots of efforts to simplify a complex concept. I, impress. When I mean impress, love your audience, respect your audience, try to put your audience under spotlight. You are not the one under spotlight. Your audience is the key. If you fail to impress your audience, if your audience fails to understand the concept, you have failed as a teacher. M, messages. Take home pearls, very, very important. Give them at least one message which will drill them through their heads. P, PowerPoint kills. Okay, use PowerPoint the right way. It's like a fire, it's like a steroid, it's like a double-edged sword. Only if you know how to use it, we can succeed it. Abusing it, overloading PowerPoints doesn't help us. Level the lecture. Always take the students on a stepwise approach, level 1 to 2 to 3. Last but not the least, E, emotions. Tell stories. Make them laugh, make them cry, make them feel. Emotions have a powerful medium to transfer knowledge. So out of this message, if I want to give one take-home message, what is the one thing which you want to take from this talk of mine is tell stories. As simple as that. So I want to end it here. For further insights, I think Divya ma'am had already introduced me to the YouTube channel. This is where I take my classes online, and there is an exclusive playlist for how to teach, or the principles and practice of teaching. You can scan the QR code to access that playlist. And yes, thanks a lot for the opportunity. Thanks a lot, Divya ma'am, and the LifeCode team. Teaching is a very is it's a divine job. I feel it's a service, because by teaching others, we lift them, we empower them. But something magically happens. What is that magic? Is that as we lift them, we lift ourselves, we escalate ourselves to excellence. Thank you so much.